He arrived like a late summer afterthought, another audition, another short-term plug for a team chasing October. And now Harrison Bader is the kind of mid-season addition that turns conversations from nice depth move to how do we keep him? The numbers are blunt and impossible to ignore. In 35 games with Philadelphia, Bader is hitting .3339 with a .403 on base percentage and a .539 slugging mark, collecting 14 RBIs in the process. Those are outlier figures for a player with a career line that reads more modestly, 247 FRAS, 313 403. In baseball, a hot streak can be a glorious, useless blip, or it can be a market-making moment. Right now, everything points to the latter. There are 3 reasons this feels different than other midseason flashes. First, the offense isn't the whole headline. Bader's defensive metrics, the kind of statistical measures front offices take seriously, are legit. The 6 defensive runs saved and 2 outs above average in center field indicate that this isn't just luck at the plate, it's two-way value. You don't find true defensive center fielders every winter. In a league where single plays can swing October series, a player who both prevents runs in center and creates runs at the plate commands premium interest. Second, fit matters. The Phillies aren't just a happy hunting ground for any hitter. Their lineup and park profile emphasize the way a player like Bader can deliver value. He's not expected to be the lumbering middle-of-the-order slug that changes everything on his own. He's a defensive anchor and a timely bat who can lift a lineup positioned around power and production. Insert him into that environment, and you don't need him to sustain a full-season batting average spike to get tremendous marginal value. The defensive outs saved and the extra on-base appearances matter a lot in tight playoff games. Third, timing is everything. We're at the point in the calendar where playoff teams and GMs are right-sizing their projections. The off-season market reacts to 2 things above all: need and demonstrable proof. Bader's late-season surge gives both. Contenders who've been circling center field upgrades now have a live case study of Bader performing under pressure in a contender's uniform. That's leverage he didn't have in his 2 previous one-year deals. So what's likely to happen? The math here is straightforward. Bader has a mutual option for $10 million. Declining that option almost certainly sits on the table if teams believe his current performance is repeatable. For the player, the calculus is classic. Walk away from a single-year $10 million guarantee for the chance at multi-year security and a higher annual salary. For clubs looking at him, he's an attractive buy because center field defense is scarce and winning teams value it highly. If he pushes the market, he's got reason to expect a multi-year offer in the low double-digit AAV range, possibly with incentives that protect teams if the offensive magic dissipates. What about the Phillies? Their roster choices complicate a simple sign him answer. Philadelphia has Nick Castellanos under contract next season while Max Kepler hits free agency. Brandon Marsh and Weston Wilson are internal pieces who could be slotted into larger roles, but they're not yet proven as high-end starters in center long-term. The Phillies now face a strategic choice: pay Bader to keep a defender who's clearly improved their October chances, or let him walk and shuffle the outfield internally while preserving payroll flexibility for pitching and other needs. There are 3 rational paths for the Phillies. 1, ink Bader to a multi-year deal and accept the payroll hit because he materially improves the team's immediate World Series odds. 2, let him test free agency, cash in on the short-term rental value, maybe by flipping Castellanos if his trade value exists, and reinvest elsewhere. 3, pursue a middle ground. Make a 1-year prove-it offer that's higher than $10 million, but not the multi-year commitment others will offer. None of those options are morally wrong. They're strategic trade-offs that depend on how much Philadelphia values continuity versus flexibility. From the broader market perspective, Bader's availability would be a hot commodity. Teams with defensive deficits in the outfield and a willingness to spend on immediate upgrades will circle. Mid-market contenders who suddenly find themselves a bat or a defensive center fielder away from real October contention are precisely the type that tend to overpay. That dynamic is what makes Bader's situation ripe. He's the kind of player who, when he shows he can hit and play defense for a playoff-bound roster, converts limited-time interest into actual offers. The skeptics will be loud, rightly pointing to sample size. 35 games is not a season. We've seen players ride hot streaks into big winter contracts and then regress. Smart GMs will dig into his exit velocities, batted ball profiles, sprint speed, and plate discipline changes to see if this is sustainable or a sweet BABIP. They'll parse pitch type splits, contact rates, and fly ball tendencies. If the peripherals back up the numbers, if the hard hit rate is up, the chase rate is down, the walk rate is solid, then the market will price him accordingly. If those underlying metrics show a classic hot streak profile, teams will still bid, but with more protection in the contract, shorter term, more incentives. There's also the human element. Bader's game is built on instincts and effort. He's the kind of player who plays the outfield like a chess match, but he's also the sort who can carry wear from playing at full tilt. Durability questions factor in. Clubs will ask, can he maintain this all year, and will his defense remain elite as he ages into another winter market? Those are reasonable concerns, and they'll shape the contract offers. Finally, there's narrative power. The Phillies are hot. The bullpen has been fixed with returns like Coan Duran, and Bader's surge has become part of that story. For the player and the franchise, the postseason run will be the mutual showcase. If the Phillies ride this to October success and Bader looks like a central figure, the emotional and market pressure to retain him will be huge. Conversely, if the run falters and the production regresses, the Phillies can point to opportunity cost and smart budgeting. Bottom line, Harrison Bader's short Philly stint has already done what midseason rentals dream of. It raised his market value and forced meaningful roster decisions. He's likely to decline the $10 million option and become a sought-after free agent, barring a Phillies decision to lock him up. For Philadelphia, the choice to keep him or let him test the market will reveal how aggressively they value defensive center field as a playoff currency. For Bader, this summer might be the pivot from journeyman signings to multi-year stability. Either way, the short stint will be remembered as the moment a one-year audition turned into a career-making bargaining chip. Harrison Bader's short run in Philadelphia looks destined to end, and he'll leave having greatly boosted his market value. Since arriving at the trade deadline, Bader has ripped off a 339/403 539 slash with 14 RBI in 35 games, turning into a late-season spark plug for a Phillies club that surged to an 11-game lead in the NL East. What's changed is obvious. Bader's suddenly elite offense paired with his reliable defense, noted defensive metrics, and multiple highlight reel plays in center make him a prime candidate to decline his $10 million mutual option and chase a bigger multi-year deal this winter. As Bleacher Report's Joel Reuter put it, after 2 straight off seasons of one-year packs, Bader should finally land a more significant payday. For Philadelphia, the timing creates a roster headache. Nick Castellanos is under contract, Max Kepler hits free agency, and younger outfielders like Brandon Marsh and Weston Wilson are pushing for bigger roles. The club can try to re-sign Bader, shuffle its outfield mix, or let him cash in elsewhere and promote youth. Given Bader's sudden uptick in the crowded outfield picture, the smart money is on him testing free agency. Short term, Bader's contribution is real. He's helped stabilize a lineup and given the Phillies another weapon as they chase postseason momentum. Long-term, his one-year audition has likely turned into a lucrative audition tape, one that will earn him multiple suitors and a meaningful raise this offseason.